All right, good morning, class. It's been a while since we've seen each other. Interesting set of circumstances we're dealing with here, biologically, certainly, and we'll certainly try and work that into the discussion as we go. Never done this sort of thing before. Everything is sort of unprecedented. We're voyaging into uncharted waters here in a lot of different ways. Since we're all relegated to our homes, but we still want to try and accomplish the goal of education here, I thought I would just go ahead and make my home, or at least my yard, our outdoor classroom for the remainder of our time at home. Okay? So, I don't know if I'll get to it every day, but I'll try at least a couple of times a week, since that's the expectation anyway. Maybe I'll do more than that, to post some things, content related certainly, but using my own backyard as sort of the teaching grounds. Okay, so this morning what we'll do is just I'll give you a tour. I have a ton of things growing and living about my place, and so yeah, you might find it boring, you might find it interesting. Anyway, so right now this is where I spend a lot of my free time, on my back porch. Let's start off with a couple of my wife's plants. Here's her Christmas cactus, and one that she brought home from her office. She's working at home as well. Let me see if I can just go ahead and flip this camera around here. No, can't do that? Okay. I'm sure there must be a way. At any rate, meet my dog Bristol. If I'm outside, she's outside, and I'm usually throwing the ball for her. She is a ball fiend. You might be able to see, there's Murphy the cat. Here are some things that you may be familiar with already. These are the two plants that were in the classroom. I think Crystal Bluda named them Frederick and Jefferson. Here's some other plants. Now these should look familiar to you. These are the tomato plants and pepper plants that I had growing under the hood in the classroom. And they were to be your spring project. I don't know. I'm still thinking about if we can try and work that in somehow. I don't know. Let me walk over here. We got some other stuff that, less interesting. Now, I know you guys are interested in these because we've talked about them a number of times. Here are, there you go, our two Venus flytraps, and they're just kind of getting started up in the spring. They kind of do a dormancy thing in the winter, but they have been tearing up the crane flies and black soldier flies that hang around in this area. By the way, this is my rain catch barrel. You can see it's about a 275 gallon tank full right now. I have another one putting in on the other side of the yard. Okay. All right, this is what remains of my fall garden, and this is my primary garden plot. These are Brussels sprouts, and you can see I've harvested quite a few of them, but there's some more that are ready to go, and they'll be coming out probably today because I plan to use this space for other things, mostly tomatoes and green beans. And then here is some kale that remains from the fall garden. I have cut off a few of them, given them to some friends, but plenty of good kale left. The rabbits love kale, so they'll probably get plenty of this. All right, let's go over here. This is, right now, this is where I usually collect my organic waste, yard material, and rabbit waste and things like that. Right now, they're both full of different kinds of soil. This is a mushroom compost And this is just a regular compost. I'm even mixing those together, adding to the garden there, plus some spots on the other side of the yard that I've got. Let's meet the rabbits while we're here. This kid's trampoline. I spend a lot of time out here. All right, here is the rabbitry. Hi, guy. What's that, dude? That's a little male. In fact, all three of these, this one here and this one here, are males. They're young males. Unfortunately, 2 of the 3 are destined for the pot. That's to be determined. There's old Buck Rogers. He was our first buck. And then let's go on the other side here. We've got, this is Opal. Say hi, Opal. Quit cleaning yourself. Those 3 males over there are hers. That's her last litter. Oh, there you are. Hi, Mama. And then here's the cute ones. This is Fluffy and her newest litter. These guys are about 5 weeks old now. And they are growing fast. They start out black. These are Champagne d'Argent rabbits. They start out black when they're young, which is one kind of pigment. And then they silver up like this over time. Of course, we could talk a lot about gene expression and proteins and all that kind of good stuff. Here's our oldest doe, Jamie. She's had several litters for us. This is George. I'm not sure of George's fate. He's a buck we kept, but not sure he's going to stick around. And here is Hulk. He's our main buck now, our young buck. Gonna be making lots of bunnies for us. It's biology. Right, now over here I have my peach trees. These trees are about 3 years old. And this is a Rio Grande variety. It's just starting to flower and leaf out. Hopefully gonna get some peaches this year. You don't want your peach trees to fruit when they're really young. You don't want their energy to be put into reproduction. You want it to be put into growth and establishing good roots and things like that. So now this is a June Prince variety, and you can see it has flowered already, and look at all the little fruits forming. A lot of flowers on it still. And then a lot of this space over here is going to be converted into garden here in the next couple of days. There's my other water tank, which is going to be catching rainwater. Might have caught some rainwater this morning. We got a little bit of rain. Got a little bit of space along the fence here. I'm going to clean out and put some more tomatoes since I have a lot of leftovers now. There's Bristol. Anyway, here's your tomato plants. I don't know, maybe vote in the comments. Somebody want to drive to Brenham and come get a bunch of tomato plants, and y'all can, it's probably in violation of these social distancing rules, but I don't know, we'll figure something out. All right, so that's the tour of my yard, our classroom for however long we're stuck here. Just want to express the importance to you guys of paying attention to the not the information that comes from the school district, the information that comes from local health officials, government agencies, things like that. This really is an interesting phenomenon, and biologically, of course, it has some real scientific implications that we could study. And so, I just want everybody to be safe, be smart. Your education is important, and we'll do what we can to make sure that you guys stay on track. In case you haven't heard, there's no STAR testing this year, so that biology EOC we've been worried about all year, you don't have to worry about. So we can kind of just have fun with the remaining content the rest of the way. I encourage you to participate when you can and how you can. But in the meantime, stay safe. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Guy, and he is harvesting Brussels sprouts for us. Those were the ones I had in the garden this morning. And then here's all the kale that we harvested. Got it in a bucket of water for now, keeping it perky so we can do something with it. Other than that, it is time to get some tomatoes and green beans in the ground. And add a little bit of that composted material over there to the soil, work it in a little bit, and then do some planting later on this evening. This fell out of the bucket I was working on. Let's see if we can turn him over. That's his, oh, there he is. He's really camouflaged. Let me get it turned over. There he is. Oh. He's freaking
Trying
out.
to scare you with that other side.
Yeah, maybe. Look, I'm poisonous. Don't eat me. Alright, we'll leave you alone, dude.